Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the 7-day home sale method. It's a blueprint for selling your home for top dollar. And we are talking about how to work with your listing agent or real estate agents to achieve your top net and your top dollar and basically making the process work for you. So I have notes over here. It's not an exact presentation, but I'm going to bring it up so that you can follow along with me, and I will therefore consequently shut down I don't even have that up right here. Shut down that, I think it's called a lower third. So here we go. It's a strategy for sellers, not agents. The At the end of this presentation, it will be clear to you that the 7-day home sale method has the best chance of earning top dollar and putting the largest amount of your equity, remember it's your equity, back in your pocket. So you can go on to your next purchase or investment or whatever you're going to do with the money, and you can do it with the confidence that you did it well. Plus, if you do decide to sell your home and you do work with me at the end of the presentation to thank you for watching it and then contacting me, I'll show you how we can share the referral fee, which could put about 30% of the listing agent's fee back in your pocket. But the first strategy is going to be all about a method that you can use with any agent, and you don't have to work with me. It's not like I'm saying, this isn't going to be a pitch for my services. This is just going to be how to straighten out the market. It's a seller's market, not a buyer's market. Yet real estate agents are really using methods designed for buyer's markets and maybe balanced markets. But I'd say this works better in a balanced market. So if it's not a buyer's market, you need to flip the process on its head. And this strategy, it's very simple. Just three major things we require of a listing agent. And I'm going to show them to you, and you'll be confident that this is a better process. So let me move on to the next slide. So my name is John McConnin, and I'm a California attorney and a broker, and I was a FSBO selling my home on my own when this strategy first developed. And I'm going to tell you more about it later. But as a broker, I sold over 150 homes. It's close to 200. I lost count at 187. And the vast majority of those were sales, and the vast majority of those sales were multiple offer negotiations. California Association of Realtors selected me to train realtors on multiple offer negotiations because there's a lot of misinformation out there, especially now that there's so many online sites really confusing the process and acting like they all have the best process. And I have other videos on that, but let me just say, if you understand this, that'll then be a framework for which you can view all those other sites and offers. Now, I'm suggesting to you that you need, in a seller's market, in a balanced market, you need a strategy that works for sellers, not a process made for agents, not a process made for buyers when buyers and sellers both had to rely on agents. Basically, not a process that was made 100 years ago and is still being carried forward today. The model most every agent uses is it's a slow Dutch auction with an offer to negotiate. Only over time they've realized, hey, all the buyers already have all the prices. The market's changed. So let's set a listing price at the market or below and have multiple offer negotiations. Hey, it's great. It clears the market for the agents quick. They spend a heck of a lot of time marketing, answering calls. It's great for buyers because the smart ones realize property's underpriced, so if they get in there early, they have an opportunity to buy an underpriced property. And that's happening the vast majority of the time in California. We've had almost 10 years now of multiple offer negotiations and prices rising and rising dramatically because the buyers keep getting in there early on these multiple offer days, and agents almost never get the full value of the home. They tell you to set a price under the market or at the market. Even the websites today are saying go below the market. And then, they're proud of the fact they got the buyers up to 5 or 10% more below the list price, which was already lower than it should have been. Because in a slow Dutch auction, the price is supposed to be above the market, and one buyer is supposed to come up and buy it at the flower auction or offer to negotiate. Not 10 saying, hey, we're going to fight each other and only have to go up a little bit. You're supposed to come down until one person comes way up. So the process is flipped, and where it's great for agents, especially listing agents, because frequently now the buyers know I want the inside track. I want the inside strategy, so they contact a listing agent, get the inside info on buying your home, and the buyers get to buy it cheaper than they should, and the sellers And the listing agents get to work, spend less time on it, make big commissions, and sometimes get double commissions. So that process is really ludicrous for a seller's agent, a seller's market. It's your home. You can dictate the process and the terms. And let me just skip right through it because I think I made the point. The very first term that you should change, and this may be why you're here. You saw this video. The very first thing you can do to flip this process on its head is have an offer acceptance period. I suggest 7 days, but you could even have 2 or 3 days if you do some great marketing. One of the goals, basically there's the framework. You want to get at least 10, but closer to 25 people to see your property in one weekend and solicit offers for them, just so there's enough buzz about your property going on. And instead of having a few showings at a time and getting offers coming in that first, as soon as the property hits the market, 1, 2, 3, maybe multiple offers, but instead of those offers coming in, and then your agent telling you, hey, we've got 24 hours to respond, we've got 48 hours to respond. So let's deal with these buyers and try to get them up. Basically, it's a very rushed process, and it's not designed to have the strongest buyers bidding. It's basically the smartest buyers, the ones who are fully prepared and understand the market. They've been having trouble buying. They've got all their ducks in a row. They're watching every second, or their agent calls them in and property hits the market. They come out and see it the first few days, or they make an offer without seeing it. And then they're like, look at this price. It's low. Let's be willing to pay that price or a little bit more, and maybe we'll get the property. That's what the smart buyers are doing, not necessarily your strongest buyers. Your strongest buyers may live in the area. They may be new to the market and just starting to work with an agent. They may be relocation buyers who have to come in from out of town, but they're motivated and they don't mind paying a little bit more because they know they're moving to town. They want a house for their family. They want to make it less traumatic, and they're looking forward to making more money. And they're not really worried about saving the last dollar. They want to get a home in their neighborhood, and they don't want to keep looking. The relo buyers tend to be the strongest buyers, and buyers who want to live in their neighborhood. Their friends or family say, hey, here's your chance, come on in. Boom. Those people are motivated. If you look at the pyramid, the top of the buyer's pyramid, it's filled by the people with the most motivation. The most motivation comes because they want to be there for their schools. They want to be there for their family babysitters. They want to be there for other reasons. They're really looking for it. Those people can be those people that make offers on the first day, but the people who make offers on the first day are frequently the buyers who understand how difficult the market is, and that really houses keep going up because they're being underpriced by the listing agents. So the point is, have an acceptance period, have some good marketing. Facebook, we're going to get into it later in the presentation, but Facebook, Zillow, putting it up on YouTube, Facebook to an audience, where the audience of people buying right now, YouTube to the people buying right now. It's called an in-market audience in YouTube. When I make a video, I get views for 7 cents or less. I mean, you can target buyers, and if you set up your ad properly, people are clicking on or interested in buying homes in your area because you're right. Let's say you said, well, I'm going to pick San Diego, Carlsbad home for sale, being sold this weekend to strongest bidder. And, click here for more information. They get the information. You say, hey, if you'd like to find out about the process and our repair reports and our disclosures and the warranty, click over to our website. I mean, you can start that process making, you can get thousands of views for $70. I mean, it's just, you can do the same thing on Facebook. And real estate agents, this is where they get the strongest buyers. They now go, they don't get it because people are coming to their website from the MLS. They're out there marketing your property to the same exact pool of buyers. If they're smart, they might not even know about audiences, but those are the strongest buyers using your house as a lead magnet. So you talk to these agents and say, your search can be done. You can have a great house in Carlsbad. We have an offer acceptance period, and we're going to be selling to the strongest bidder on Sunday night. So come see the property this weekend or whenever your time is. So you have an offer acceptance period coupled with great marketing. You can feel confident about the process if you get 10 people or more coming to see your property and you're asking them if they'd like to make an offer. Now, the 7-day home method, we make it even easier, but we're not going to go over the details right now. Let me just say the first thing, any agent, offer acceptance period. How do I know this? I was a FSBO once, and that's what we did. Instead of trying to get one offer at a time, he and she, it was a team. They brought in an offer from some of their friends or investors, and we told that we did some great marketing for the following week, and boom, we sold our home for, it was $80,000 more than I was trying to sell it on my home. Part of it was we created buying pressure, and then two, we took in offers, but we told them we weren't going to review them until after the weekend. The buyers came out. So many people were interested in the property. They made their offers. They were not concerned. And then we set up, we'll talk a little bit more about the round robin bidding process. Instead of just going highest and best, or you're in a multiple offer situation the whole time, we did superior things, and we didn't burn out our strong buyers. We let the weaker buyers come up if they wanted to, and then we talked to the strong buyers. So it's a round robin bidding process. It's a much better strategy. In fact, it's one of the reasons why Carr noted that I was very successful in multiple offer negotiations and asked me to, from my training, and then they asked me to train realtors on the process. It's not just following the forms. It's setting the process so that the seller can find the strongest buyers and work with them. Now, the next thing that you can change about it is changing buyers' expectations. As I said before, setting a listing price at the market or below the market really sets the buyers' minds incorrectly. Many times, strong buyers, I've worked with them, or their agents have said, hey, this was the price your seller said the property is worth. They're willing to go a little above because the multiple offer situation, but they want to work with people who know what they're doing, or they don't want to be jerked around, or whatever the process is. It's very hard to get buyers to go well above the market. I get calls all the time, not all the time lately, but I got dozens and dozens of calls last year. When Google liked me as the lawyer in a real estate search, it said Del Mar lawyer, but I was getting calls from all over, but they had me at the top of the page. All the time, people were calling me up saying, hey, we had a multiple offer situation. My agent chased away all the buyers, and now we've got nothing. We want out of our listing contract. And in talking to lots of people, I understand that it's not always the agent's fault. Sometimes the buyers have 7 offers coming in. They said, I knew we priced this property too low. Let's try to get these people $20,000 or $50,000 up to where the price should be, and they chase everybody away. It's not always the agent's fault, but it's a combination of the process, and sometimes it is the agent's communication skills. It's multiple things. So this process is designed to let the buyers compete against each other, let them know that's how it's going to work ahead of time. Say, it's a non-binding auction. Yeah, on Sunday night, we're going to start with the lowest and see if they want to beat the offer, and we're going to go up the ladder, and it's going to be fair because the agents aren't going to be self-dealing. It's the strongest buyer's going to win, and by making a stronger offer, you don't have to go through the different levels. It's not going to burn out the buyers, because what happens here is, if we consult or you're working with an agent, they're going to say, this buyer in second place is really strong. They've got more than enough cash to close this property, even if it goes higher. They're motivated. They'll be flexible, and they don't have to close right away. They can give you time to locate another house if that's what you're going to do. So we really like the second buyer. So we call it the second buyer and say, hey, you're the second highest offer right now, but what we really like about your offer is the following. You're strong. So we're going to suss all this process out. We're going to let the other buyers compete against each other, and we're going to come up with a number, and then we're going to come back to you, and we're going to ask you what you think and what you'd like to do. Is that okay with you? Boom. So then you run the process. You get back to them. Maybe you've got an offer that's 30 or 40,000 above, and then you have to decide. Take the chance with the person who might not appear as good on paper or might not have done as good on the phone, but you might get $40,000 more, or you might sell to this buyer who comes up 20, but gives you 60 days or 90 days to locate your home. And we'll have no problem qualifying, because they can, let's say that the bank says, no, you've got to sell for 700. They're at 720. They can come up with that extra 20,000 so they can close. That's the beauty of this process, letting the buyers compete against each other, having a representative that understands the process and communicating with you and the buyer's agents. Okay, so, and all of this is so much better when you price the property and just say offers starting at, and if I were marketing this on Zillow, let's say on Zillow, I'd say prices starting at 5,000 or 10,000 under the Zillow offer. And you could do the same thing on Trulia, and you could put it on Facebook that you're starting offers. It's a non-binding. It's an auction that's non-binding on the seller. House will be sold to the strongest buyer this weekend, starting offers at, which happens to be a great price. We're starting below the Zillow price, and we're going to see where this goes. And you're going to want to consider this, because you could have a house, you could purchase a house this weekend. There won't be realtor self-dealing. It's an above-board process. This is the property for you. I've done better marketing right now. I'm just going over the process with you. I have actually, we have the Facebook ad and the Zillow ads already laid out. That was just my summary of them. Now, you'll see there's a better process, because the risk of pricing is not on the seller. You don't have to worry about if you priced it too low and you can't get them up to the market value. This round robin auction process, an auction process where the buyers compete against each other, will show you what the max dollar is that the buyers will only pay that weekend. And if you've got 10 to 25 people seeing your home and getting started in this process, the experience has told many agents that if you've got 5 or 10 offers coming in, you've got 10 people seeing the home, you're going to get offers unless your property is 10% over the market. I've said that in videos for years. And in California, in our markets, you get 10 showings, you're going to get an offer. There's exceptions, like your house is a wreck or it's way overpriced, but you're going to get offers. If you get 10 to 20 people, 25 people seeing the property, this process is going to wind up strong. But the good news is, if you don't think it is, you can just reject the market. So the risk of pricing in this scenario is not on the sellers. You can reject the price. The risk of negotiating is not on the sellers. Your agent doesn't have to be an excellent, well-trained negotiator. Sorry, I'm going to turn this off. We're going to let the buyers compete against each other. Your agent should speak well, communicate well, understand the process, explain it well, but they don't have to be great negotiators. You don't have to really feel it out. Like, it's a razor. When you're negotiating with buyers and you've got 3 or 4 going and they're starting to get ticked, and the buyer's agents are telling you that, it's an interesting dance to try to come back and say, can we get up there at $10,000 or $15,000 more? It can be done, but you really have to communicate well. They have to have confidence the pain is going to end soon, and it's really in their best interest to make this bid. And those buyers also, if they haven't seen how competitive the market is, they tend to come back when they get checked. When buyers get checked, they come back and usually ask for a ton in after the inspections, because their agents say, we'll make it back on the inspections. Whereas when they see they're competing against tons of buyers and they understand the market, they're like, if we lose this house, those same people are going to be looking next weekend in this price range in this neighborhood. So whatever you do, be very careful before you let your agent go final and best. This process also eliminates the risk of agent self-dealing to their own buyers. And the process generally should not be chasing away the strongest buyers, because they don't have to compete round after round like some agents make them do. They're only competing once or twice. They're only having to go up the ladder once or twice. Now, this process is designed not just to create a higher net, but it's designed to create top dollar, the most equity going back in your pocket. And why is that? Well, there's something really interesting about this process, because when you're doing this open house process, some of those buyers are going to go in our process are going to be coming in unrepresented, and you're going to show them sample offers, but they don't have to even use an offer. All you're wanting to do, all you're collecting is bids, and you're saying, we are going to go with the strongest bidder for the right to negotiate with the seller to come to the final terms on Sunday evening after the round robin, or on Monday. So there's going to be bids in there from other buyers that are not represented by agents in many circumstances, and people are going to be aware of this. And in that circumstance, you therefore, or the buyer's agents and the buyers working with agents, understand that in all likelihood, you're going to be considering your net as to how strong their buyer's offer is, not just the dollar that the bid is. So let's say someone's giving $700 as an offer, but a buyer with an agent is offering $710, but the agent's asking for 3%. So you take off 21 after that. So their net offer is I'm doing this on the fly, 680, 679. And so you're going to slot them in here. Although I definitely say having a buyer represented by an agent is worth something. So I might call that like a 785 offer. The number doesn't matter. I mean, if there were two tied offers, I would probably pick a buyer being represented by a strong agent because that can hold the deal together. But that's another story. You get to make those decisions. But you're basically saying this is 700 versus a let's just for rounding that 680 net to you. And agents and buyers are going to know that. In fact, when I've done this, I've had many times agents are saying, well, they're just going to go pick someone else if it's the same number. And I'm like, well, we're not on the MLS yet, or even if we are on the MLS, because now I think the MLS used to say these auctions had to be absolute, but I don't think they're enforcing that in most places anymore. So they're just going to say, hey, I know what you're doing, and it's not right. And I said, and my response would be, well, it's the seller's money. The seller gets to decide. And besides, if it doesn't work this weekend, it'll be on the MLS next week, and the regular rules will apply. Or we're going to change it next week, and the regular rules will apply. But if the process is working this weekend, your buyer wants to buy it, that's the way it's going to go. And then to be even more clear, so they really understand that the buyer's agent has to earn the fee. When we make a bid sheet or when you're accepting bids, you might say, okay, what's your offer? And here's a box. Are you looking for a buyer's agent commission? Check the box if you are. Put in the percent or the flat dollar amount. So now everyone making an offer knows that their number is going to be netted out. So all the really important thing you have to remember to do is during the round robin negotiation, you have to make sure that you know which offers to net out, which buyers. So, I would suggest we have a round robin spreadsheet and an offer net or an offer sheet, a contact sheet. And whenever you're going up the ladder, you rank them based on the offer sheet. It's a little bit more work, but I'm sure you understand it. It's awesome for the sellers. And the beauty of it is you can make the buyer's agent earn it. Like if they're asking for 3% and it's a $700,000 house, well, let's just call it $1 million this time. And $1 million house, that's $30,000. They have to be $30,000 or better to be considered a superior offer based on the number. Now there may be other reasons. They may be a cash buyer. They may, there can be other reasons people be stronger. And that's also nice about having an offer acceptance period. We get to talk to these people ahead of time unless they just came in on the weekend. So you already know, we're ranking the offers. We're taking notes. We're putting them on the bid sheet. So that's the process, really. We're breaking it down. 1, offer acceptance period. 2, starting offers and round robin bidding instead of a listed price. 3, because we're using this auction process, buyer's agents are going to have to prove their worth. So that's really like putting 3% if you're offering 3% to buyer's agent, 2.5% if you're offering 2.5%. I didn't go over this before. Normally in a listing, let's say it's a 6% listing, half the percentage goes to the people representing the buyer, half goes to the listing agent. Sometimes the listing agent represents both and collects 6%. Now, sometimes it's 5%. They split 50-50. Sometimes the listing agent keeps more. But anyway you slice it with traditional agents, 5.5%, 6% is going out the window for the work that the agents are doing. And this process makes the agents prove their worth. Or you could just outright say there's a pre-MLS one. We're not paying buyer's agents. These are the things we talk about in our strategy session. When it works for you, when it doesn't. It's an experience thing. We can talk to you about it. So why this strategy now? Why am I bringing it up? Well, I brought it up on and off lately. And over the years, I've used it. But it wasn't something until a few months ago I really was pushing because the market really has changed because online pricing is available to everybody and it's starting to get better. In fact, experthomeprices.com is almost ready and I'm putting up the pricing models that we get from our realtor associations on there. And when I'm checking on friends and family members, it seems to be pretty accurate all over the country and it's better than any of the other ones that I saw. So there's access to that on the net. There's Zillow pricing. There's all these other online pricing buyer and really what's for sale right now is available for people. And that's really, people know, well, if I'm paying 50 grand more, I can just buy that house or I can try to buy that house. So pricing and availability, it's there. So it's agent buyers are no longer relying on their agents for pricing, even neighborhood and everything. They're now just saying, I need showings. Sellers, in fact, many buyers, and I have a program for this, go directly to the listing agent when they can, if they're not getting a buyer's rebate. And I have a program for that. You can just contact me. We can work to get rebates from the listing agent, or I can share the buyer's commission with you if you're going to do the work, or we can send you to a buyer's agent and get buyer's agent commission. People are not relying for buyer's agents. In fact, that's what the whole Zillow model is predicated on, letting you do the work instead of the buyer's agents, and then referring you to the agents and charging the agents massive fees, monthly fees for that right, because they've already, just because buyers need leads, buyer's agents need leads, and they can afford to do it because the commissions are high. But the whole model has been flipped because buyers no longer feel like they need the perfect agent. They just really need chauffeurs and someone to facilitate the paperwork and coordinate basically give them confidence about the process. But the real tightness of agent in pricing and negotiating strategies, that's gone. Now, realtors are also getting sued. Right now, the major brokerage is being sued by class action agents, and they're breaking this apart. It was tightly knit. Listing agent goes in, gets the fee, offers a share on the MLS, tries to double-side it. Major brokerages are being sued. I don't know if these class action lawyers are going to win, but it's putting pressure on the models. And it makes you think that the models aren't really necessary anyway. This model is far superior. Now, the other thing is, and I've done videos on this, it's very hard to compare the models versus the other models. Like most of them are saying, we'll give you a rebate, whether it's Redfin or the other ones. Zillow puts you out that you can sell it on your own. You can have Zillow buy it from you, or we can refer you to listing agents. Redfin says we'll take a listing fee of 1.5, but we still expect you to pay the buyer's fee on the MLS. They're hoping to double side. A lot of agents are hoping to double side. Most of these models are predicated on double siding so they can get paid, which means they want the buyer's fee too. Now, they'll do the work and maybe not get the buyer's fee, but they're hoping to get it. I did mention in other videos, and I'll do more, I like the models where the listing agent says, I just want to be paid for the listing agent. We're not even going to use the MLS at first. That's what we're doing here. I'm suggesting you contact me. We either talk to the agent, any agent you choose anywhere in America, or I help you buy an agent, find a great agent. I mean, basically, what I do is I get on the phone with the agents in the area that have a presence online, and maybe the brokerages that I know of that are in those areas, and I speak with the broker in charge, and I ask them, hey, we're looking to refer to an agent. Do you know which ones don't mind sharing referral fees? Who's done plenty of business and won't have a problem sharing their stats with me? And then I'll give them a call and I'll talk to them and I'll talk to them about the process. So one, agents don't mind sharing referral fees, especially because I'm an attorney and a broker. Two, this process can easily be set up as a pre-MLS period. So we can get the agent to work for you for a week to 20 days, 21 days on their own trying to do this process. And then if it doesn't work, they can go on the MLS. That's an easy sale. Most agents are not going to want to offer less than the MLS. Some aren't going to want this to put it up on an auction. And as on the MLS, they have internal ideas. They've been indoctrinated. So it's hard to break that. But this works perfectly as a pre-MLS strategy. And then you go to the MLS. And we can talk to the agents about their fees, but we'll ask for 1/3 of the listing agent fee. And I've never been turned down on a referral asking for that. And I'll share that fee with you we'll talk about that in the next slide. So, and really, when it's all an auction model, this is just a superior auction model. So, now a little bit more about the method that we would try to get your agent on board with, and it shouldn't be hard. I've made this as simple as possible to understand. We're gonna get three numbers for you. One, the absolute max the market will bear before people just say, I'd choose that house. So that's a market context idea. Two, what the CMA, traditional price would be. And then three, and you don't even have to discuss this price with me, but I'll talk to you about your strategies. What the price you would sell at would be. Where will you be happy? So if offers come in done the auction model, when you're going to say, yeah, I'm going to choose to work with those people, or I'm going to reject the bid, and we're going to go to the next step. And then the starting offer is really easy. I already told it. So it's really it's 4 numbers, but 3 other ones. And the 4th number is just the starting offer, which frankly isn't that hard. We just want to be low enough that people aren't getting confused and think it's a listing price. They have to know it's a starting offer for an auction model, a non-binding auction model, so you can reject it. Now, the next thing is, we don't even need the MLS for this. We have a certain social media, local marketing, and an offer acceptance period that's combined. I will share the audience selection and the Facebook advertising, basically the ad. I have and there's other videos out there that I've done. I have it's a click funnel, but it can work for any single page website where you can send the traffic to, so that they can get the information about the auction, the disclosures, the warranties, the things that you're going to do to remove buyer fears and make them want to submit strong offers. Round robin, we can share bidding sheets. It's the process is easy. One, you have the contact information, you have the number you have to subtract from the net, whether it's a percentage or not. Then you line the bidders up, and then you move the strongest bidder up to the top, and then you get in touch with the people on your list that you initially ranked, or however the ranking is. There's myriad ways to do it, but we'll be happy to share the sheets and the method with you. Then they have a right to negotiate with you on Sunday, or you can reject it. They could reject it theoretically too, but if they're going to go back on their number that they're looking for, or they make it too difficult, you're going to go to the second or third buyer. And you're going to tell the buyers in that process, by the way, this was great. We promised to go with the strongest. They're the strongest, but if it falls through in 2 or 3 hours, we'll call you. I mean, however you want to do that. Then if the beauty of this is, if it's accepted, the buyers get to go through a normal escrow process. It's not like an auction where they have to buy at the number and they've waived all other rights, or whatever it happens in that auction model. They're accepting it as is or whatever. They're still going to get their inspections in my method, but you can change it. They're still going to get their inspections. They're still going to get their contingency periods to get financing. So it's easy for them to feel comfortable, so they make their strongest offers. Now, look, as an attorney, I've helped people do 1 and 2 page selling agreements where the deposits have gone as hard as possible, so people know they're going to perform on this contract. They're going to walk away. Those are the types of things that happen in Rancho Santa Fe and big markets when people are selling to people they know. So we can customize this process, but that's not what the 7-day home sale method. The 7-day home sale method is simple. It's just really those 3: offer acceptance period, marketing, and then big open offer round robin weekend. That's really all there is to it. It's the details. It's regular home selling details that any realtor understands. And, we can even make courses about it because that's not rocket science. But it's offer acceptance period. It's good marketing, round robin weekend. That's really it. Now, with your permission, how we can make this work for you? Well, I've already started going into that. If you work with me, if you set up a free strategy session, we're going to go over your pricing strategies. We're going to talk to you about the fact that agents are going to initially balk when you contact them because they're not really going to understand. It's going to be important. If you do this without me, you're going to have to explain to them you're trying to establish a pre-MLS period, and you want them to talk about the top side, because agents are going to say, hey, we need buyer's agents. We need buyer's agents. We've got to offer the money on the MLS. And I believe it's not. Most of the time when agents make this objection, it's not because they're saying, oh, I really want that 2.5% or 3%. They like it, but they really have been indoctrinated into believing that MLS produces, and offering money to buyer's agents produces great offers. And I believe that too for certain houses with views, one-of-a-kind houses, custom houses where the buyer's agent has to talk the buyer, a skilled buyer's agent, the buyer trusts, has to talk to the buyer's agents into the value and why they're paying $100,000 or $200,000 too much for this property. But that strategy doesn't really work if there's superior houses that are 20, 40, 50 grand above you. So when we're talking to agents, we want them to come up with the absolute, what's the ceiling? And then you decide that within the ceiling, is there enough room between what you're doing and their, after all, what's their point of their 21 or 91 point marketing plan if they're not getting you more than fair market value? What's the room? What's the difference between where the offers are going to come in without buyer's agents and the buyer's agents? What's the difference? Where is it going to come in? And the beauty about this process is the buyer's agents are actually have to prove that out, right? I mean, this is such a sweet process. But anyway, we're going to listen to them. And if they say this particular house, your house, needs the buyer's agents, a waste of time to do pre-MLS marketing without offering the buyer's agents, well, I'll say fine. Then we'll offer to pay the buyer's agents. We'll just make them prove it. And if that doesn't work pre-MLS, then we'll go on to MLS 10 days later. I mean, why not give you a chance? It's like a movie launch. Why not build a little pressure? Why not have a big open weekend and say this is a pre-MLS weekend? Otherwise, we're going on the market for $50,000, $70,000 more tomorrow. I mean, why not? And movies don't just say, hey, movies. Well, sometimes they do. And once video games did this recently, but normally they spend months launching, building an audience, building up pressure. The same process works here, 5 to 7 days at least for the information to get out to the strongest buyers. Now, the great thing about working with me is if you're in California, you got a lawyer on your team that can help you close. I mean, sometimes there's objections. Sometimes you're like, well, how do I kick the buyers out of the contract? They're not performing. What do I do? The buyers did this. What should I do? Sometimes, hey, I'm not so sure. I agree with my agent. What do you think? So you got a lawyer on your team. I'm not litigating, but you're gonna be able to talk to me. So you're gonna have a second opinion. You can consult with me. I mean, sometimes things come up. Buyer wants $20,000. My agent says we should do it. Should I do it? Multiple offer consultation outside of it. I'm going to talk about the process outside of it. I don't want to be practicing law. I'm practicing real estate outside of California. I don't want to violate any laws. But you'll still have someone to bounce ideas off of about whether the process is working. Now, as a bonus, if you click the link below, I'm going to share the referral fee with you, and I'm going to do it in a very advantageous manner. I'll talk to you with your permission. I'm going to continue to talk about this a little bit more, how we can help you, and set up a free strategy session. So as we said, set the pricing strategy, help you set your selling sequence, working with your agent. We've got to find out what the agent wants to do, and it's a consultative process. And we're not going to go in there and say you have to do it this way. We're going to try to get the best process for your house and for you. Then we'll share the referral fee, and we can refer this property to the agent of your choice, even a family member. Or I can help you find it. I've helped plenty of family members and friends find agents all over the country. I've referred as a brokerage. I've had agents. We have referral process. We've sent referrals all over the country. We didn't share the referral fees back then. Now that's a little bit of a difference. We've worked with doctors, lawyers, because the agent in my office had been a lender and he knew these different programs for them. But now we're offering this type of program to everybody, and we're willing to share the referral fee. I also back in the short sale market, I sent clients everywhere because I had a very high performing website on Google. So if we choose to work together, and this is only for now, I'm planning to make this process scaled, and I'm not going to be able to offer some of these things, but I'm still going to do what I've always done. We're going to have a strategy session. It's free. Just call me up. If you click the button below this link at winnerscheck.net, you can go into my calendar app and schedule a time for you. If you don't see a time you like, just schedule the last one. There's a little box that you'll ask a series of, there's a few questions you have to sign up and just say, I need a different time here sometimes, and I'll confirm with you. I actually give you my direct line for questions. Okay. In working hours, and questions that are time sensitive, because I prefer to do this during either our consulting calls or live coaching calls. But if it's a time sensitive thing, and it's your people are making offers to you on Friday night before 9 o'clock, because I know that's when we do a lot of sales, right? As an agent, I've sold a lot of homes. It's amazing how often the negotiations go into the evenings on the weekends. And I'm willing to have you can call me if you're uncomfortable, but you want to do the deal. But let's say up until 9 o'clock. Now, we'll do training for your realtor and some other paperwork. I'm putting a course together. It's still in the beta stages, for buyers. For sellers. And we're putting together the training for the agents and the buyers, but it's not complete yet. Now, sometimes deals go a little squirrely and someone's got to get involved. A lot of times I've been able to talk to the agents and tell them what to do, but sometimes people have called me up and said, I really prefer you do it anyway. I need to write a letter. I need you to talk escrow into something. And if I think it's real and you're right, let's say it takes an hour or two, I will give you 50% off my regular fees. But I only anticipate that. And, well, problems come up maybe 20-25% of the time. Normally they can be handled by agents, and you can get a little consult with me, with the live coaching calls. Sometimes you may want a lawyer to get involved. I'm not trying to pitch this for legal services, but I'll be there. I'll support it for you. Peace of mind, commission, referral rebate. Now, normally, in the past, actually, $2,000 is low. I've charged $1,800 to $2,700 as part of my transaction management oversight. Now, I've put some of that into the coaching calls, and I will be charging $2,000 to get started. But if you set it up today, well, here's how it would work. $2,000 to get started. Then on the referral fee, you would get the first $2,000 back. So basically, you put me on your team for free. And then after that, we would share the referral fee that you and I agreed that we would seek. And that an agent agreed. And then we have to have the agent sign some paperwork. Their broker sign paperwork. Then we have to make sure that during escrow gets that paperwork. And ideally, we get paid out of escrow. That's how that process works. But I'm willing to waive that $2,000 fee if you sign up today. Because that basically is time I don't have to spend time talking you into. You've just been through a lot of the information I would share. And I'm designing this to be information for many. Each week this is going to get better. But it's information for many instead of one at a time. And if I get this working, then I can change this. But believe me, it's either going to be money up front. Well, as I said in the past, I took the entire referral fee. Now I'm willing to share it, and I'm also going to waive that upfront fee if you sign up today. And if you're seeing this video on my website, it's still there. If you're seeing it on YouTube, there will eventually be some money up front. Maybe it'd be $1,000 instead of $2,000. But there is time that I put in up front, and sometimes people. Well, I don't want to get into negative stuff about it. So we'll just keep it all positive. So right now, it's an opportunity for you to put a lawyer on your team and share the referral fee. I think it's unprecedented. If you go to these other websites that are talking about finding your best agent and all that, we're going to do better. And instead of keeping the referral fee, which can be thousands of dollars, can be like the listing agent commission. Let's say it's $1 million home, it's $30,000. The referral fee, I've easily seen them at 50%. I haven't done that many at 50%. I've never been rejected at 30% of that. So we're looking at $10,000 on $1 million home. We're looking at $10,000 referral fee from almost every agent in the country. So Q&A. Now, okay. So anyway, go to winnerscheck.net. Click the link below if you're seeing it. Winnerscheck.net. Set up your time with me. It's absolutely no. I just like talking real estate. No problem. Let's say we see quickly that. Your situation is different, like where am I saying I don't think it's going to qualify? Let's say that I'm not comfortable with representing, calling people up and saying that, this person's, let's say you're saying, I really need to buy a house first. And all I really want to do is this agent to run this auction. And I don't know that I'm really trying to sell. I'd say, great. In a few weeks, I'll have a program where you can do this on your own, with some live coaching. But let's not run an agent through this process. So we're trying to see if you're qualified, if your expectations of the agents doing the work and selling your house are accurate or good. And then if so, this is going to work for just about anyone in the country. But there are times where we're talking together and it's not going to work. And that's really what, and then you might not want to do the process. So, this is really about us seeing if we can work together. And in return, I'm going to give you more information, set up the strategy session, help you with these things, answer some questions, how to make it work best for you. And then hopefully we'll be working together. So here are the questions that I get, whether it's on the net or in calls. First, let me get a drink of water here. Should you make repairs and improvements to the property? Well, when I've sold my property, I've sold some flips and renovations using this method on my own, or major parts of this method. Actually, this method, when you look at it, because I've always believed in offer acceptance periods. I've done that for a very long time. Not every house, but many of them. Certainly, most of our own flips are my own properties. Well, I didn't do the listing price. If I put it on the MLS, it was a listing price, and I'd say, "Oh, big open house this weekend. We'll be looking for offers." I don't know if I've actually said starting offer when I put it on the MLS. When I've consulted with people, they have. And so, but when I've done it, I do make paint and carpets. I think in most cases it's worthwhile. But I've learned, look, sometimes you're gonna get the max offers anyway. They offer the number you want your property's in its condition now. So why spend the money on the paint and carpets when buyers are probably gonna change the paint and carpets anyway? Oh man, I can't even. All realtors have stories about that. People spend a fortune making the house look great, and someone comes in and spends $40,000 on new floors. I sold houses for a friend, and their house was beautiful, and they couldn't believe that people spent 40 grand on new floors. And I was in the property. I didn't think it made it look better, but they were looking to refinance and get money out. Right? They were real estate agents buying the home to live in, but I believe they were looking to refinance, get money out, and do it again. Repairs and improvements, declutter always probably looks better, but I don't know if I'd spend money. That really depends on your upside. Buyer's agent's fee. I like to make them prove it, certainly pre-MLS. Eventually, if you reject the market and you go on the MLS, then you can just do it the traditional way, whether it's a week of our way and then traditional way, or just straight in the traditional way. What if I don't get offers? Well, then you can decide whether to move to the traditional MLS, but you're going to find out if you market this property and you get people through and you don't get offers, you're going to know a lot about where the market is, or if the offers are too low. That'll be discussed between your agent, but I would seriously consider that either your price was way too high, or something unique about your property, or there's just something. Why I don't want to be negative here. We'll deal with that at the time, but all you've really done is spent 7 to 10 days, maybe 5, finding out where the market is, and then you can reject it. The low offers. If there's no offer, then so be it. Time of year. I like selling in the fall. I like selling this summer. I've bought houses during Christmas break. Prices do tend to go up in the spring lately, but it's the top houses. They set the new records. They maybe help the rest of the market, and then summer slows down and people are trying to get those old prices. It doesn't happen in the fall. In the fall, the prices sometimes have been going down, but it's not. I don't believe it's because the prices actually went down, other than maybe last fall they really did in some markets. Normally it's because these houses are not as good as the ones that are already sold, and people are trying to get those prices when those prices were special. That's what I've experienced. But it's I think as you're in the market at that point in time, you have to analyze it. I wouldn't say the fall is worse than the spring, especially in the type of economy that we have now. Things could change dramatically if interest rates tick up. I think I did a video on this. What sells homes? Real estate agents, traffic, or price? I would say real estate agents and their marketing are the least consequential in this market, as long as they do either they put on the MLS because the MLS broadcasts it all over, or they go to the major portals and broadcast it, put it on Facebook, put it on YouTube, put it on Google, spend $7 to $10 a day in each of those channels. You're going to get, if you do that right, you're going to get to far better buyers than the MLS, in my opinion, in my experience. So if you do the basic marketing and then you do, I know a lot of people don't want to tell the neighborhood they're selling. But if you don't mind, local marketing, sign in the yard, a big open house weekend, signs, 20, 30, 40 signs customized. Like, doesn't have to be, probably shouldn't be realtor signs. Maybe the sign on your house can be, but those other signs should be home being sold this weekend, and the address, or call, or your website so they can learn more. Home being sold this weekend, great opportunity, price 30,000 below the market. You want to make 3 lines in your sign, put 30 or 40 of them out, maybe put a few out the weekend before, then a few out the weekend. I know homeowners associations can be a pain in the neck, but if I'm selling my home and I know the fines aren't going to be drastic, man, what am I doing? I can't tell you what I do. I'm just saying what I would do. I would worry, free speech and the right to sell my home matters to me a lot more than some homeowners rules. Towns try to jam people. Okay. And I will say that it's different between a town's ordinances and, let's say, you're living in a condo on the water and everybody's paying big money for that piece of enjoyment and your signs destroy it. I see the homeowner's point of view. I see the homeowners association point of view there. Especially if it's like bed and beat, if there's a lot of turnover in the properties and they're trying to make it enjoyable for their buyers, and that means something to everybody. But not putting signs up about your home being sold on the corners on the weekends before the sign Nazis come out, and sorry about using the word Nazi, before the sign people come out and rip them down, I'd say put those $1, $2 signs up. Create a buzz and a launch about your home being sold this weekend. But that's in general. If the fines are prohibitive, if they really could throw you in jail, if you don't mind your constitutional rights being questionably destroyed, like, I'm not even sure these towns have the right to do this. So be it. If you'd like to talk to me about that, though, that's what our strategy session is for. Now, I guess that was my last slide. So we got to go back. Where's my winner's check? That I thought I made a final slide. This is funny. Well, let's just remember that. winnerscheck.net. You're going to actually see this. I know it got longer than I did, but I felt like I really put some effort into that. Now, if I feel that I've done it. Now, we can do Q&As all the time. If I will do more on the Q&As. But anyway, winnerscheck.net. I really want you to understand that this process, at the very least, all agents should, even if they're not sharing their commissions with you, all agents should be willing to do this process for you. That pre-marketing, the non-MLS marketing, the pre-MLS weekend, the round-robin bidding instead of the way that agents normally do it, where maybe everyone's, there's a multiple offer situation. What's your next bid? No, stack them. Offer acceptance period. Just do it. Have an offer in there. Say, hey, yeah, we got offers, but we're not reviewing them until after the weekend. We'd love to have you make an offer. We'll give you an opportunity to purchase this home. Your offer's not going to be binding until we have the bidding on Sunday night. So just get your bid in there. Use the sample contract if you like. Make it your own, but get it in here. And we'll call you on Sunday night. And then if that doesn't work, you just go to the traditional marketing, right? There's no risk. This is just helping your marketing. It's augmenting. It's like a launch, a movie launch or a video game launch or anything. It's just reconciling. I don't know if that's the right word. The seller's homes to the market and use a starting offer instead of a listing price. The MLS is designed. It was designed for long time ago when people needed their agents, they weren't confident, and they just had to get people in there. The speed of the market, the information in the marketplace is so large. Oh, and don't worry about this old wives' tale in terms of your listing price. If you were doing an agent, you ignore all this. Do not worry about being above the market and dropping to the market. The market's so efficient now. I know in San Diego, I can say this without a shadow of a doubt. If you lower your price to the price where the market thinks it's good, you're going to get showings, you're going to get people at your open house, you're going to get sales. Many times I've helped people who have remodeled homes or they're over the market and they give it a shot. And then let's say I'm like, look, We're not selling at this price. It's just not going to happen. We've had 30, 40, 50 people come through the open house. We've had realtor caravans, and you're not getting offers. It means you're overpriced. But John, I need this net just to pay the bank, to get even, to break even, pay my investors. I'm like, well, let me put this home on Craigslist and Zillow, and let me do a little Facebook marketing. And I'll put a lower price if they work with me, and I'll pitch in the seller's agent commission in the deal. So we'll knock it down like $1.5 million house. I got $30,000, $40,000 to play with. I said, so let me knock the price down by $30,000 or $40,000 and let's see what happens. And sure enough, even if we had a dead open house the weekend before, lots of people come to the open house. I start getting calls from agents. Why is the price lower on Facebook? And then I tell them, hey, I'm trying to find the buyer myself because my people have to sell. And then more people come in, and sometimes even, let me just say many times, we work with buyers, but the pricing comes up. And maybe my client has to eat $5,000 or $10,000 instead of having nothing going on. So the market's very efficient. So you can lower your price, and when you do, the buyers take note. So don't worry about going in high if you're using a realtor. But this method is far preferable, in my opinion, because you can always go in high the next week, right? John McConnin, winnerscheck.net. Give me a call. Let me go back. This is really what it's all about. Setting your sequence with me. We're going to set your sequence so that it works for you, and then we're going to get a great process for you, and then share the referral fee. I mean, I can't think, the marketing guys are supposed to stack an offer. I can't think of what, I could offer you a lot of other things, but you're going to have a very experienced agent to bounce your ideas off of. You're going to save money, substantial money, could be $10,000 or more, $5,000 probably at a minimum. You have your best chance of having buyers competing against each other to get your top dollar. We're going to get you top net because we're saving you referral fees. You can do it in 5 to 7 days. All right, we're good. Winnerscheck.net. I'm John McConnin, California Association of Realtor and California Real Estate Attorney. Thank you.